So your argument that people who enjoy having women's rights wouldn't like Trump as a president is just such a childish thing to say. I'm a woman, I'm 23, I'm the next generation of America, and I don't feel safe taking public transportation anymore. How is that? Why isn't that part of your argument? We have lawlessness, we have crime, we have
Okay,
theft
listen,
up to $1,000 legal in California.
I gotta say, listen,
we have so many issues that you're neglecting.
Listen, there are lots of issues.
So who cares more about women? Republicans or Democrats? I know what you're thinking. No brainer, right? I mean, pretty much all Kamala's gonna be saying for her whole campaign is abortion, abortion, abortion rights, abortion rights. Abortion rights. That's her whole campaign. That's what she's campaigning on. Plus, she's a woman, which is funny because Democrats are basing this whole thing on women, abortion rights. But if you ask them, what is a woman? No one can explain it. No one can give you an answer. And you're going to run this whole thing off. But women's rights. So please explain to me, how do you care about women, but you can't even explain what a woman is? In fact, by your very logic, there's no such thing. It's whatever. A dog can be a woman, a guy can be a woman, as long as someone says or something says, hey, I feel like being a woman, it's a woman. So I don't understand. But anyway, I uploaded a video, I think last week, where the young lady was speaking about women's rights, and she's an actual woman, young woman, who actually understands what it is to be a young woman, and is not just virtual signaling and trying to look good and trying to feel like, oh, I don't have to feel guilty because I'm a young white woman in America. I can actually just speak the truth, the gospel truth, because it's God's truth. Anyway, and a lot of people reacted to it, so I just thought, let me just make a part two, because I feel like she actually didn't even, she left some money on the table. Let's just put it that way. She didn't really touch on everything she could have touched on. For example, let's say Democrats. What's their number one thing when it comes to protecting women's rights and giving women and caring about women? It's abortion rights. Yeah, women. This is Kamala Harris's line. We believe women are smart enough to decide what's good for them and their body. Well, how are they smart enough to decide that if they got into that position in the first place? They're obviously not smart enough then. They obviously made some wrong decisions with their body, what to do with it and who to give it to. And now they're in a position that they need to reverse that decision, because the whole premise of abortion is reversing a decision that you made and now you feel was a mistake. That's the wrong line to lead with, is we feel women are smart enough to say what they can do with their bodies. Freedom of choice. Because if they had a choice, they also had the choice not to get pregnant. That's a choice, obviously, except for. And this, even Donald Trump agrees with me on, and most Republicans. Rape, incest, and if the mother's in danger, or I guess if the fetus is in danger or something like that. But yeah, apart from those situations, it's really just bad decision making, and they come with consequences. Terrible way for them to express that point. Now that's about it though, to be honest. Apart from that, DEI, workplace, I guess. Women's rights in the workplace, which leads to DEI hiring, diversity, equity, and inclusion. If you're South African, that's BEE. Yeah, Black Economic Empowerment. And that leads to candidates like Kamala Harris being the best that the Democrats have. Apart from the fact that they had to keep her on because she was the only one who was going to receive the funding that Joe Biden had already fundraised. So, yeah. And I mean, we all know how well that works when you just hire someone because they're black or because they're a woman. Yeah, Kamala, we see you. Let's look at Republicans now. The so-called women haters, hate women. Young white women hate Donald Trump. Black women, they hate Donald Trump. Okay, what do Republicans say about women? First of all, gun safety. Well, what does that have to do with? Well, who do you think is protecting themselves? I mean, as a guy, for the most part, someone comes up, and if push comes to shove, we're gonna go blow for blow, man. If I'm not armed, that's the best I've got. But at least I've got that. What do women have? Nothing. Screaming, pepper spray? Nah. I would rather women have guns on them if they need to protect themselves. Which leads me to the next part, which shows that Republicans actually care more about women and their safety and their rights more than Democrats, which is the border. All these crimes that are being committed by these heinous crimes being committed by these illegal immigrants, most of them are on women. So the Democrats are leaving the border open. Guess whose the borders are? Kamala Harris. And guess who's getting hurt the most by this? Women. Women getting raped, women getting killed. Young women. So there's another thing. If Trump comes in and the Republicans close the border for legal entrance only, not close it completely, calm down. I'm a foreigner. I'm an immigrant, legal in another country. So I know it does benefit people, but legally, if they close it down, that eliminates how many crimes? And those are the only the reported crimes, by the way, and the ones which have been actually where the person's been caught or identified at least. What else? Let's see. Sports. Women like sports. Yeah. I mean, ask the Democrats. They'll be like, yeah, sports is not a gender thing. Not only men watch sports, all genders should be allowed. Well, how does a woman participate in sports when there's a guy twice her size being allowed to call himself a woman and then do that sport with her or against her and then get dominated and win gold? And then I don't even know how these guys feel. Like, anyway, it's a mental thing. It's a mental illness, I promise you. But anyway, who's protecting women in sports? Republicans. So there's another reason why Republicans actually respect women's rights and safety more than Democrats. What else? Let's see. Because I mean, it can't be that much. Oh, hey, bathrooms. What about that? Men identifying as women and using women's bathrooms and then assaulting women. You think that's going to happen under Donald Trump, my man? You've got another thing coming. I promise you that. No, 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 no. And who's pushing for that? Who's okay with that? Oh, yeah, no. Identify as a woman, sure. What about another thing? Jail. Women's jail. How many guys are identifying as women to get sent to a women's jail, raping women, and then being sent back to normal jail? And whose watch is that happening on? In fact, who's encouraging that? Democrats. Biden. And guess who's next? Harris. Yeah, I'm just saying. Who's really interested in women's rights and who's just gaslighting you? Is there anything else? Let's see. Pro-life. Why would pro-life actually show? Why would being pro-life actually show that Republicans care about women? I know what you're thinking, right? That's an oxymoron. No, that means you're taking away our rights. No, no, no. What they're taking away is the ability for women to put themselves, young, vulnerable women, maybe college kids, mostly black, young women who get into situations and end up in single parent households or end up being a single parent in a household. Pro-life takes away that ability from them to just be reckless with their decision making. It adds a consequence so that they can think maybe let me use protection, maybe let me, I mean, morning after pill, whatever, but at least have that, at least gives them that thought process before entering into this. We all know that the reason why people are all up on the internet listening to AMS and these guys and red pill and blue pill, we all know that one of the first and main reasons that caused this whole thing, this feminist revolution, is the birth control pill. Once that was created and available to women, it freed them from having to make conscious and good decisions about who they sleep with and the consequences of that. And what did that free them to do? To not have to choose a partner, because they can sleep around just like men do and not have to settle down with someone because they won't get pregnant and have to actually have that guy raise their child. And because of that, relationships have been on the downhill slope. And now you guys are listening to TikTok, reading books, feminism this, masculinity that, red pill, blue pill, incel, all because you think, nah, it's because women are like this and women are like, nah. A big part of it is simply too much reproductive freedom. It's out of hand now. It's really out of hand. Like, you can't just, anyway, yeah, no consequence. Anyway, abortion, being made a crime, and being pro-life actually is protecting young women from themselves, to be quite honest with you. It's the same as making drugs illegal. It's protecting young people from themselves, because that one guy who was gonna try it and said, nah, I ain't going down like that, guess what? He ain't gonna come back and say, oh man, I really wish, a woman who doesn't have a reckless pregnancy and doesn't need an abortion won't go back and say, you know what, I wish I had done, had an abortion when I was younger. Anyway, what about one more? Let's go. Welfare. The welfare state. Welfare state incentivizes women to have children without the dad involved. I mean, here in South Africa, it's literally a play-by-play, same as America, where it's like the state is your dad. The point where it's to a woman's advantage if there's no dad in the house, because if there's a dad in the house and they come around and find one, then they don't give you your little grants and your welfare checks. So therefore, you have to make sure there's no dad in the picture. And that's another reason why Republicans care more, because they actually realize this. They realize the broad effects that this has and consequences. And they know that if you take that away, the welfare, you actually take away an excuse not to try. Entrepreneurship, capitalism, freedom to try, freedom to fail, freedom to buy, freedom to sell. When you give people handouts, you take away that freedom, the freedom to try and the freedom to fail. So, yeah, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I was just quickly, what is it, like 5 reasons why Republicans care more about women's rights than Democrats do. You let me know. Peace. Like and subscribe, please. I need you.
Welcome to the Fred Show, welcome to the Fred Show, welcome to the Fred Show, welcome to the